Welcome to another video, and the first video in a 3-ish part series on all the new stuff that I bought over the last couple of days. Today, we're going to be talking about this. So here it is. This is the Ronin-SC with the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K balanced on it perfectly. You can see it is working as it should, and the DJI app does say that everything is excellently balanced. Now, this is kind of a tricky setup to make work because of the way that this camera is designed. The weight distribution is not really intended for use with a small gimbal like this. It's more designed for use on something bigger like a Movi or a Ronin M series gimbal that has a whole lot more space to balance. Now, to make this work, it was actually fairly straightforward. There was only one modification that I needed to do, and that was just adding this here little counterweight. This is a counterweight system made by SmallRig specifically for this gimbal, and I would imagine because people wanted to balance this camera. This is I have a 200 gram weight on here. It comes with a 100 gram that you can also stack or just use that. I found the 200 gram weight was about the perfect amount of weight to let me rig the SSD on this side of the camera, as well as give me a little bit of play to get everything balanced as it should be. Okay, so I have this turned off and locked, just so you can get a little bit closer look at the way I have this weight here, and the way it just attaches right there on the side of the gimbal. It works great. No problems at all with this system. So on the top of this camera, I have the SmallRig top plate for the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K or 6K, and the small SSD holder there. It's the Samsung T5 SSD holder there, and that is pretty much the extent of what I have rigged on the camera itself. Eventually, I will be building out a full cage rig for this camera. However, I would not put a full cage on this gimbal. This top plate and the SSD holder is pretty much all you need. You could put a microphone in the top here because it does have a cold shoe if you really wanted to. Now, like I said, I'll be building out a full cage once I actually figure out what I want to do with the camera, what things I want to have on the camera and all of that. But for now, this setup is working perfectly. The Pocket Cinema camera has this lovely 5-inch touchscreen monitor on the back here. Now, this is great for handheld shots indoors, but once you go outside, it's a little too dim, and the biggest problem with this is now you can't see the screen. Super easy solution to this, though. This has a full-sized HDMI output, and that's what this cable is, running over to this FreeWorld 7-inch Full HD monitor. It runs off of a standard Sony battery pack. It's not standard if you don't already own Sony stuff, but it's super easy to come by. I don't have the battery on here right now just because they're charging. However, it is hung off of the side of the gimbal rather than putting it on the camera, because that would make things a little too unwieldy. Now, the monitor is held on to the gimbal by this little piece of kit here made by SmallRig. It is specifically designed for the DJI Ronin series gimbals, or the Ronin-S and the Ronin-SC to be specific, where you just attach it to the accessory, slot, port, whatever you want to call that, and it holds the monitor. You can tilt it. You can do all that fun stuff. And on the top, you can see it's got a cold shoe mount. So you can put a microphone on top, or, you know, more stuff, whatever you could possibly dream up to put on this rig. The last thing I want to talk about is this focus gear. This is a 3D printed accessory. You can find the STL online for multiple different sizes of lenses. So if you have a lens that doesn't have a focus gear and you have access to a 3D printer, you can make any lens into a cinema lens for this rig. Well, there you have it. That is the quick overview of how I have my Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K rigged up on the DJI Ronin-SC gimbal, and it does work. The internet seems to have mixed feelings about it, but I think as long as you keep it within or maybe slightly over the payload limit, you'll be okay, and this will balance just fine. And for things that I'm doing, this is more than enough. The only thing that I might change is the lens, and that doesn't really add too much weight to this rig, depending on the size, obviously. The way I have this set up right now, everything is working great, and I really haven't tried it out in the field yet, but I've tried walking around my apartment and getting some really terrible footage, and it's just working as expected. Now I can't wait to get this out and try it out in the real world. I'm sure I'll run into some issues and have to adjust some stuff, but for now, everything looks like it's working as it should. That is going to do it for today's video on the Pocket 4K and the Ronin-SC. If you like this video, give it the thumbs up. If not, you can give it that thumbs down too. If you want to see more stuff like this, go ahead and smash that subscribe button and hit that little notification bell so you don't miss my, terrible upload schedule. As always, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see ya in the next one, whenever that is.